A drug dealer, Modi, keeps some drugs on a mountain on the advice of an older man. Later, he takes someone, Master Soon, who wants to buy that drug to where he kept it. On the other hand, a police group headed by Captain Wong is searching for Modi, and they are walking along the same forest with Old Lin, the oldest forest keeper. As they walk around, Modi keeps reassuring Master Soon that they will get there soon, while the police group sends their representative, Lazy, to find the drug dealer. As Modi continues his journey, he gets a call and finds out Master Soon works for the police as an undercover agent. He kicks Soon and kicks him out. When Wong gets to know, he sends Lazy to save Soon, and with the help of Old Lin, they find the last place where the drug dealer is found. However, they couldn't find Modi, and right after that place was a river. They ask Old Lin if they can enter the Hat River, but Old Lin says it's impossible, and every year they find dead bodies around the river. Wong insists that's their mission, and they must go there, so he takes his team along. After swimming through the river, they find a mountain. Lazy stays by their front and leads them with his robotic eyes. He finds a door by the edge of the mountain and opens it. As he enters, they see Soon and Modi running out. They tell them that there is a monster in that part of the mountain, and just as they have said, a monster comes to attack the team. Lazy shoots it down, but the balls which roll out of the monster create another set of monsters, and the team is overwhelmed. Suddenly, they hear Old Lin's voice. Modi confesses that it's Old Lin who advised him to put the drugs there, and Old Lin says he only did it so he could punish the drug dealers, and that's why he doesn't want the police to enter. He says he closed the door, but they opened it. He changes to his real devilish form and insists that since they have seen his real self, then they have to die. He calls monsters on them. Then he notices Lazy's dagger. He asks Lazy if he is part of Wang Yan's men, but Lazy says he doesn't know Wang Yan. However, Lazy tells him that even if he knows Wang Yan, he will die that day. He orders another attack on them, and suddenly a creature appears from the sky. Yan tells Lin he has no right to mention his name, and he wonders how he has remained alive despite being so old. Yan looks at Lin and asks Lin if Lin thinks he can escape. In defense, Lin says he only took a pill from him, and it wasn't worth looking for him for over 1,000 years. He tells Yan he's sorry, but Yan says he doesn't forgive. When Beyond prepares to kill him, Old Lin tells Yan that he isn't the only one who uses the pills, and if Yan promises not to kill him, then he will reveal the second person that took the pills. Yan promises not to kill him. He says he gave part of it to his cousin, Yang Xiao, and the reason he did so was that he wanted to know if the pill was poison so he could confirm it. Yan remembers his promise not to kill Lin but says another person could kill Lin. Lin doesn't want to die, so he holds Lazy hostage. He takes Lazy's sword and puts it by his neck. He says he knows the sword belongs to Yan, and even if Yan wants to deny Lazy, it is impossible. Yan reminds him that the sword is his, and he can use it, so he takes the knife away and gives Lazy a gun to kill Lin. After 3 days later, Lazy has a dream. In the dream, he remembers when he saw the dagger, and his uncles told him it was left by a stranger. Lazy wakes up in a room with Soon. Soon tells him their Captain Wong has left them at that place, and Lazy has been sleeping since 3 days ago. They hear the footsteps of a person, and Lazy goes to the door holding the dagger. But the lady hits him and takes the dagger. The lady, Bai Lu, tells him that he is a coward. Later, another man comes in, Director Hao. He tells them that they were brought there to heal. Soon asks them if they can leave immediately, and Bai Lu tells them that they can't leave and that they are at Mindaya Biro. He takes them to the headquarters, and they meet their boss, Jiao Liang. After the welcoming meal, Lazy says he doesn't want to work there, and Jiao Liang allows them to leave. However, Soon tells him there is no car to take them, and they also see the pay of the company that pays a lot, so they decide to stay. They are taken to the big office where they meet a person who puts the company's bracelet on them, and Bai Lu tells them their 3 months of training have started, and she's their trainee. Jiao meets with Yan. He shows him the portrait of the monsters that defeated some of their members, and he says it's from the Dalu Kingdom. However, Upon having a closer look, Umian says it's the Gusi kingdom. When Geo looks at it more, he sees there is a slight difference between the two shapes. However, he says he only knew the kingdom of Guja's folktale, he never knew it actually existed. However, Umian tells him it exists, and it's real. Bailu takes Soon and Lazy to all the rooms in the office. They are in room 5, and their room focuses on collection and equipment support. Geo tells the members of room 1, which is headed by Hao, and room 2, headed by Shi, that they will both be taking a mission together. The two rooms are known not to align, and they hate each other. Hao wonders why he's given the same responsibility as Shi's group. Soon and Lazy are also asked to fill them out for the task. They all go for the briefing where they are told that they are going to a desert. The desert has swallowed 2 different sets of people, and they are to rescue them. As they reach, she declares that they will enter the place the following morning, although Bailu is of the opinion that they haven't prepared. When they sleep in their tent that evening, Lazy hears a step. He leaves the tent and goes towards the desert. There he sees a white goat. He looks at it, and Soon comes to tap him. Soon wonders why he left the bed, and when he tries to show Soon what he has seen, he realizes Soon can't see it. Soon mistakenly steps on the sand that falls into an abandoned mountain, and when Lazy attempts to find him, he falls too. Aussie wakes Soon up, and he realizes the whole mountain is full of sand, and they can't climb up. He sees a creature on Soon's head. He asks Soon to calm down so he can kill it, but Soon asks him not to shoot. The creature jumps at him, and he keeps chasing the creature. Meanwhile, Soon can't see, all he is seeing is the creature takes his gun and leaves it to shoot by itself. Bailu arrives, she tells them she has been assigned to ensure that they don't run away, and she has come to find them. She wonders why the gun is shooting by itself, and they notice another part of the mountain. Upon getting there, they see some stones. Bailu recognizes them as Zai Sing and tells them it's a marriage gift to the Gusi people. She tells them the people of Gusi were so immoral that they sent kids to die with their late king. As a result, they offended the gods who sent sand to wash away the city, so it seems like they are in the washed away city. She tells him their mission won't be an easy one. She tells them they should use their time being stuck there to gather information. She looks at the blocks and videos them with her bracelet and then asks them also to try to gather information with her. They do as she has commanded, but she notices something is wrong in that building. She tells them to stop, but soon touches one of the bricks, so they fall on them. Meanwhile, in the tent, Hao realizes that Lazy and Soon are missing. Just as he wonders where they are, he gets to know that Bailu is missing too. He calls his team to find them. Luckily for them, the brick stops at a point, and they push it off. They fall into another room where they find a casket. To their surprise, the casket is buried with bronze. Bailu explains to them that in those days, a person was only buried in such a cruel manner with swords and weapons if the person is buried by his enemy. They assume that the burial ground belongs to King Baiji, who was the king of Gusi in those days, and they wonder who could bury the king in such a cruel way. They cannot open the casket with bare hands, and Lazy gives him his sword. They use it to cut through the casket, but when Bailu sees the corpse, she tells them it's not King Baiji, and the corpse looks like a Zhang Yuan. As they wonder who is buried there, the creature Lazy has been seen dragged Soon into another hole. Lazy and Bailu follow Soon into that hole, and Bailu sees some pictorial stories. She tells them that when a notable person died in those days, they paint pictures that show his story, and the picture there shows that King Baiji had a daughter he loved so much. The daughter fell in love with a Zhang Yuan, and the king refuses to join them together. Later, he decided to make his daughter happy, so he joins them. Sometime later, his daughter died from Zhang Yuan's sword. The Zhang Yuan brings his team to the country, and the country is overwhelmed with battles trying to win the fight. The king requests for God's help, and he offers to die with the enemies. While looking at the picture, Lazy's eyes close, and he falls into an illusion where the king appears to him. He attempts them, including Bailu and Soon, and kills Bailu and Soon. Lazy struggles with the king as the king asks him to give him his daughter. In the real world, Mew appears, He tells the others to prepare for Lazy's funeral because if he loses in the illusion and dies, he will die in real life, and the only way for him to escape the illusion is for another person to join him there at the illusion. Lazy switches off a lantern, and he wakes up in the real world. Wu looks at him and says he looks weak, but if he didn't survive the illusion, he would have died. Bai Lu also helps him with his injuries, commenting that it's not his day of death. They start thinking of the way out of the mountain, and Lazy tells them about a route he has seen from his illusion. As they open the door, they see several stairs. They find out only one of the stairs is real, and the others aren't, and they may die. Wu asks Sun to pick the stairs they should climb. Sun reluctantly does so, and as they climb one, the other stairs break down. They get to another part of the illusion, which Bai Lu says it's the Yeming Zoo. That part is filled with water, and they see Hao inside of it. Hao tells them he entered because he saw she drowning, and after saving her, she attacks him. The others assume she may be a fragment of the illusion, and Hao should kill him, but Hao says every other thing in that illusion is cold, but she is hot. Losing his patience, Wu calls for the creature to come out. He finds out the creature is scared of fire, and he defeats him. Upon coming back to the actual world, they return on flight to their company. Lazy finds out Sun has taken something from the mountain, and they plan to share it, but Wu says they must give him his share, and Lazy should deliver it himself. Bai Lu also says she wants hers. After their successful operation, they all sit to drink and be merry. While they drink, Sun tells them that he feels cold, and he assumes it's probably from the cave. As they continue to make merry, Oong Yang, the one in charge of the bracelet and the care service, arrives. He arrives angrily, and he's mad at Hao for not inviting him for the drink and brings several more drinks for them. By the time they finish with the drinks, Sun, as Bloom, just like the corpse in the cave. Lazy is about to take him to the infirmary, but Bai Lu sees them on the way and tells him to rather take him to Yuong's office. As they get to Yuong, Yuong tells Bai Lu to take Sun to the room. After Sun is healed, he returns to his normal color. On the other hand, Director Shi isn't in support of Lazy and Sun's employment. He says that if their boss doesn't do anything, he will intervene. So, as Sun walks out with Lazy and they talk about Lazy, Sun tells Lazy that he thinks he is related to Wu. Lazy says he only collected his sword from his uncle, and he doesn't have a direct affiliation with Wu. Suddenly, Shi and his people come to arrest Lazy and Sun. Bai Lu runs to Director Jiao, Wu, and Hao and reports what she has done. They go to Shi and insist that she releases them. Bai Lu takes Lazy and Sun shopping. As they shop, she tells them that they have to prepare for their last examination, as the examination is going to be set by Shi. On the day of their final examination, they are taken to a house and they are asked to arrest a man, Lin Feng Hua. With the joint work of both of them, they eventually arrest Lin Feng Hua. After succeeding in their examination, she asks Lazy to wait to clear the house. As Lazy enters, Shi and his men raise their guns at him. He tells Lazy that the reason he brought their mission to that room is so he will have an opportunity to kill him. Fortunately, Hao and Bai Lu enter, and they stop Shi. Jiao speaks to Shi, telling him that Lazy has passed the examination and he's now part of their department. Upon returning from their last operation, Jiao orders Bai Lu to take Sun and Lazy to another city. There has been a situation where people enter into a coma, and it has happened in their company, so they are to investigate. As they touch down in the city, they meet Yang Xiao, a police officer who is scheduled to drive them throughout the journey. While they are in Yang Xiao's car, Bai Lu gives Lazy a drug from Wu Yang to heal his sickness. He is to take 1 dosage per day. As he takes the first one, he gets very weak. They arrive at the hospital where they meet Director Lin, and he tells them about a sign that is on the body of everyone who has fallen into a coma like that. That night, Lazy comes outside, and Sun comes to meet him. There, he confides in Sun that he doesn't think the drugs are working for him. They receive a call from Bai Lu, who tells them Lin has fainted. They go to the hospital, and they coincidentally meet Yang Xiao. They assume he has come to visit them with food, but he says his wife is also in the same hospital. As he walks away, The nurse tells them that his wife had an accident and she lost her 8 months of pregnancy. She loses the will to live, and she starts committing suicide. Her last attempt pushes her into a coma, and she has been there for about 3 years. They decide they will ask Wu Yang to heal her. Wu comes and removes the energy in Lin. He puts it in a kettle and creates a clone version of Sun and Lazy. He makes them look for her energy, and he defeats it. They return to their original version and ask him to teach them magic. On the other hand, another set of people are seen on the rooftop. Bai Lu keeps investigating the people in a coma. She touches the tattoo, and they see bugs coming out of it. They realize that the people that are there are given bug poison, which is the same way old Lin works. Meanwhile, at the rooftop, it turns out Yang Xiao is actually the leader of the Witch God Mountain. He meets with the members of his sect, headed by Lu Yong, who tells him to release the Earth Pearl, as he is no longer a good leader, and they can't risk him continuing to lead when he only wants to save his wife. They walk away, and he goes to the hospital to meet the team. They brief him about what's going on, and he says he wants to go redeliver the briefs with Lazy. As he leaves, Bai Lu and Sun sneak to his wife's room to scan her. To Ouyong's horror, as they are there, they see a pearl from Goose under the bed. They send it to Young, who recognizes him as the leader of the sect and tells them that the brief has been delivered. So, Lazy is trapped in the car. Lazy receives a call from Bai Lu to return home, but before he does so, Yang Xiao stops the car and confesses to poisoning Lin. He says he needs human energy to save his wife, and he will get it. Fortunately, Lazy escapes. As Lazy leaves, Lu Yong comes to meet Yang Xiao and tells him he has found the Earth Pearl. Lin wakes up and tells the others how he was attacked. They call Lazy, and they all meet at a cursed elevator that causes the death of 11 people. As they enter, several undead people attack them. They are unable to win, but Wu arrives. Yang Xiao is shown walking to the hospital. Lu Yun has informed him the pearl is with the bureau. Gang's at the hospital, and he must find it. Yang Xiao returns to the hospital, and he thinks about the memory of his wife and the fun time he spent with her. He remembers how he asked the doctor to kill the child so they could save his wife, and how he didn't know his wife would decide to die. He receives a call from Lu Yun, who tells him that if he doesn't bring the Earth Pearl, his wife will be kidnapped and killed. After Mu finishes at the elevator, they all return to the hospital, and they are shocked that Yang Xiao isn't there. They assume he is the one who bugged the people in the hospital, and they start looking for him. They chase him severely, and Mu eventually catches up with him. Mu realizes he is old Lin's cousin who used the pills, and Mu wants to kill him, but he escapes with half of his power. Mu concludes that for a person to escape that keenly, he is undoubtedly the one who kept the bug. Yang Xiao meets with Lu Yan and gives him the pearl, but Lu Yan has killed his wife. He gets angry and says his greatest regret is saving Lu Yun from the trash, and starts fighting Lu Yan. At that point, they realize it's Lu Yan who kept the bugs, and soon begs Yang Xiao to leave Lu Yan, telling him that if Lu Yun dies, everyone affected by the bug will die. Yang Xiao refuses to hear, and Bai Lu also calls Sun to inform him that the people at the hospital behave irrationally. Mu arrives and removes the bug in Lu Yan's body, threatening him to remove the bug. Lu Yong does that, and Yang Xiao wakes up at the hospital. Later on, thinking about his wife, Ouyong and Bai Lu speak about Lazy. Ouyong looks at Lazy's body and expresses that Lazy is stronger than he is. They reveal that the spirit of Old Lin entered into the body of Lazy during the fight in episode 1, and that's why she has refused that Lazy works with them. Ouyong says that the spirit can't be removed that easily, and nothing is to be done. Lazy goes out with his former captain, Captain Huang, to give a final respect to a colleague. On the other hand, Bai Lu tells Sun that Room 6, which is under Wu, has employed a new worker for the first time in several years, and the worker is Yang Xiao. Sun drives Yang Xiao to their new mission, which is to recover a former member of the Bureau who is at a temple. Meanwhile, at the temple, they plan on how to hack the Bureau's system and they raise up several undead for this purpose. Sun picks up Bai Lu and Lazy, and they all go to the temple to meet Taoist Xiao. They enjoin Xiao to return to the bureau, but he refuses. At about the same time, they receive the message about the hack. On their way returning home, they find out the temple has been set on fire and several undead chase them. The undead people catch up with their car and attack them. They all decide to fight the undead, although they know they are on the losing side. Director Jiao knows where the issue is from, but there is nothing they can do about it. Yang Xiao tells them that they should come together and fight. He changes into his mountain spirit form and he fights the undead. He asks the others to keep fighting while he goes to the temple to meet old Xiao. At the temple, old Xiao tells Bai Lu to join her people in fighting. He says he should do it so she won't have to live with regrets like him. The entire temple is burning, and there is no hope of surviving. The orchestrator of the fire, Sanda, arrives. Old Xiao tells Sanda that he only has issues with him and not the investigators, so he should leave them. But Sanda says the investigators are powerful. When Lazy sees Sanda, he asks Bai Lu who he is, and she tells him he was part of the people who created the bureau with Jiao before he betrayed the team. Bai Lu goes to fight Sanda, but Sanda tells him he knows him. He says he has read about him, and Sanda becomes a monster. He tells Lazy that the bureau will use him until he becomes a monster like him, so Lazy should join him. Old Xiao tries to beg Sanda to spare his life, but Sanda says he will only do it if they show him the location of Qian Li's map. Sanda goes to a part of the temple where Xiao tells him the map is. Sanda enters to take Qian Li, and Lazy follows him. Lazy tells Sanda that the Qian Li belongs to the bureau, but Sanda explains that he was the one who found the Qian Li and gave it to the bureau before Jiao and the others removed him from the team. He says he is much interested in the energy of Lazy, and they start to fight. Soon arrives with Yang Xiao, and Sanda says they have come to die. The fight gets serious, and Lazy starts changing into a monster because of the energy inside of him. Sanda takes the powers of Qian Li and becomes a huge demon. Lazy enters into power with him, and he attacks Lazy. He tells him the energy inside of him is attracting him, and he removes the energy. After he does that, Mu arrives, pushes Qian Li, and gets Sanda out. He tells Sanda that he has only been looking at him because he has been looking for someone to remove the powers inside Lazy, as the power is affecting Lazy's internal organs. And Sanda arrived at the right time. He gets into a fight with Sanda and Qian Li, and he wins. Sanda calls him a monster before dying. At the movie's end, Lazy walks covering his head with a hoodie and leaves the office. He goes to the part of the city near a statue and he removes